How's it going, guys? 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 This is McNaughty, 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 ASMR. And it's good to be here with you guys tonight. Thanks so much for being here. I just felt like making a video this evening. I didn't really have much planned. I really haven't thought through what I wanted to discuss. I had a basic idea. So, anyways, it's gonna be more of a ramble style video, and hopefully that's okay with you guys. I'll probably just talk about my life, talk about some thoughts that have been rolling through my head lately. Before I do any of that, though, I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for being here and for all the kind words and support that you give this channel. And I wanted to give a special thank you to one of my favorite ASMR creators, Fabled Fawn ASMR. She commented on one of my more recent videos, and it meant so much to hear from her. She is one of my favorites of all time, and she knows that I have a channel which is insane, and she was just very encouraging and very kind, and I've kind of been on cloud nine ever since she left that comment on my last video, or one of my last videos. So I just wanted to give a special thank you to her, and if you guys aren't aware of her channel, be sure to go check it out, because it is awesome. She's great at what she does. But like I said, I really haven't put a ton of thought into what I wanted to discuss tonight. But that's okay, because I feel like I can ramble for hours about this subject. I kind of wanted to go over the topic of dating tonight with you guys. It's probably giving a few of you PTSD, just the word dating. It's crazy. It's kind of giving me PTSD, not gonna lie. But I was just having I've had so many conversations within the past week with friends and with family about this subject, and it's just had my mind spinning. You hear so many different opinions on this subject now. I think it's more common, or it's becoming more common, the idea that you should just avoid dating altogether. You should just become entirely comfortable with yourself. Be as successful as you can be. Work as hard as you can. And just try to live the most comfortable and luxurious life that you are able to live. And that requires hard work, and it requires sacrifice, and it requires essentially focusing on yourself rather than focusing on a relationship or pursuing a partner or a romantic interest of any sort. So I've heard that becoming a more popular idea. I've also seen and met people who behave the exact opposite, where they are like, my life has no meaning. It has no meaning. It's purposeless. I can't be alone. I can't do anything on my own. I absolutely have to be in a relationship. That is the entire purpose of being alive. And without a relationship, without having somebody that you can share your life with, spend all your time with, there's just no purpose. And so, guys, I think and I know that this is totally typical for somebody to say in this generation, but I do feel like this generation is so different than any of the previous generations as far as dating goes. And I think that the introduction of social media alone is kind of a strong piece of evidence for that case. I think that social media, it has a lot of good parts to it. I think there are a lot of benefits to social media. The fact that I can stay in touch with people that I met while I was living in a different country. The fact that I can see how their life, see some important events that are taking place in their life and stay connected. I think that's amazing, you know? Before you'd have to like write letters or do long distance phone calls. So the fact that you can stay connected to everybody is great, but I think that's also the problem. I think social media is a big problem, especially in regards to dating. I watched this documentary on Netflix like a month ago, and it was talking about how dating apps are ruining relationships. They are ruining relationships. I can't remember a ton, but what I can remember really struck me. I didn't read, but when I was watching the film, they emphasized that when people are on dating apps, they play it like it is a game. They play it like it's a game. They don't actually get on these dating apps for the purpose of meeting a romantic interest and pursuing a long-term relationship. That is not how they were designed. And hearing how and why they were designed the way they are really interested me. The narrator compared dating apps to this experiment that I think was conducted on pigeons. Anyways, what they did is they trained these pigeons to like peck at a red light every time it glowed red. So they'd just be sitting there in their cage. The light would flash, and then they would peck at it. And they started giving these pigeons bird seed or something, some form of reward. And obviously that trained these pigeons to start pecking at the light. But if I'm remembering this correctly, even after the reward was taken away from pecking at the light, the pigeons just kept on pecking at it. And the narrator compared that to people with dating apps. People just use them because of what feels like a victory every time you match with somebody. They kind of treat it like a casino or a lottery game. Like if you've ever gambled before, if you ever sat down at one of those slot machines and you've won, it makes you feel like you are on fire, man. It makes you feel like you are just kicking butt, like you need to keep going. And that's how these are designed. And so anyways, people don't care so much, or at least I would argue long-term users of these dating apps, they don't actually care about talking to people. They don't care about getting to know people. It is purely because of an addiction, and a gambling-like addiction. The feeling of getting a match with somebody, it sends a rush through your body. I mean, you feel good. It's like, okay, yeah, I've succeeded. I've won this person. And so anyways, that's just really strange. That's a really strange way to view others. And it's a really is unorganic a word? It's an unorganic way to meet somebody, you know. I don't know. And so anyways, since I've moved down to St. George, ever since I've been living here, I've been on like a couple dating apps. And I just never have felt super comfortable on them. Like, I get it, and I think it's fun. Like I just explained, that rush you get when you match with somebody. I feel that way too. I'll swipe up I'll match with somebody, and it's like, wow, that's awesome. Like, heck yeah. But then I really don't have anything to go off of other than these pictures they posted look good. You know, I don't know this person. I don't know if this is actually how they look. And even if it is how they look, and I like the way they look, that doesn't mean we have anything in common. That doesn't mean that we will understand each other or enjoy each other's company. That doesn't mean that we, in any other setting, we would have talked. And so, I don't know, like, I just have always felt like dating apps were just super uncomfortable ways of getting to know somebody. And the funny thing is I know a lot of people who have gotten married because of dating apps. You know, it works. It really does. It works for some people. I just have never felt a desire to talk to somebody or to meet somebody or to go on a date with somebody that I haven't met in person. So, and maybe that's just a me problem. Maybe I need to get over that, but I don't know, for some reason I can't keep myself off of these dating apps. It is fun to message and it's fun to swipe, but as far as like doing something in person or meeting somebody and going on a date, like, I'm not gonna lie, it has happened. I've gone on like 2 dates because we talked on a dating app, but they didn't ever really pan out, you know, and maybe that kind of destroyed my confidence in them, you know, because it was exactly like I said. They, on paper, look like a good fit, and then when you meet them, you're like, yeah, you're not for me, I'm not for you, kind of thing, you know. So that's just interesting. That's a new thing, you know. They didn't have these dating apps. Our parents didn't have these dating apps. These haven't been around for very long, honestly. But I don't know, man. I think that kind of changes the way that people view relationships, and even introspectively, I think it's changed the way that I view relationships, and probably for the worse. It's a few ways it's maybe worse is that I feel like I don't have to put in as much effort to meet people or to talk to somebody or to feel like I am successful at talking to girls, if that makes sense. Like, it is so much more difficult, I feel like, in person. Like, if you, let's say, go to a party or an event or a friend's house and you meet somebody there, it takes a lot more, I don't want to say balls, but it takes a lot more balls to approach somebody in person and connect with them that way, somebody that you think is attractive, and then ask them for their number or ask them out on the spot, you know, stuff like that. I feel like dating apps have changed the way I think, because it's like, you know, I really don't have to risk putting myself out there. I can kind of just sit at home and stare at a screen and swipe and avoid that possibility of rejection or of an uncomfortable encounter or interaction. And so, in a way, I feel like it's kind of robbing me of the opportunity to, I don't know, really learn how to interact with, and to first start communicating with somebody that I have interested in, or somebody that I have interested in. I just repeated myself twice and said the wrong thing twice, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I don't know, and I'm just kind of realizing that, and I love talking about this out loud, because sometimes I realize more about myself than I was aware of when I began the videos. But anyways, that's just one section of dating that I feel like is just tough nowadays. It's just tough because everybody has kind of been conditioned to hop on these dating apps, and the incentive to go to a events or parties and things like that, it isn't as, you know, it's not as obviously incentivizing as it used to be, because that used to be the only place you could go to meet people. So anyways, these are probably just thoughts that relate only to me. Hopefully some of you guys know what I'm talking about on this. But I don't know. Another interesting thing about where I live specifically is that people are known to get married at a very, very young age. A very young age. Like the amount of people I know that got married right out of high school, some even in high school, would probably surprise you. It's just something in the culture that has been created here in Utah that is common. It's what you do. It's the next step in life. You graduate high school, you go to maybe a year of college or whatever, and then you get married. That's just what you do. And so it's funny because that's not something that I ever really wanted for myself. You know, I love the idea of getting married. I want to get married one day. I want to date. I want to find somebody. And I do want to get married. But I just feel like I learn so much about myself every single day that I didn't know the day before. That I'm not capable of making a lifelong decision. I'm not prepared to make a decision like, who do I want to spend the rest of my life with? Who do I want to share every single day with? Who do I want to dedicate and sacrifice my life to? You know, like, and those are things that I do want. I want to do those things, but I've just never felt prepared. I've never felt like I've known enough about myself, or I've known enough about the future, if I've to make a decision like that. You know, and even if, and I believe that everyone is compatible. Some people are more, some people are less, but everyone is a little bit compatible. But even if I met one of the most compatible people out there, and I feel like I have met a few of those people, I've just never been one to think, you know, I am wise enough at this age, or I am prepared at this stage in my life to make this decision. And so, that's just something that has kind of been different about me as far as where I live and the area that I've grown up in. Most of my friends at this point are married, and I'm only 25. I just turned to 25 in July, so I'm not like super old or anything, but it's just common to get married in your lower 20s. But almost all of my friends are married now. Some of them have kids. Most of them got married at 20, 21, 22, even younger than that. And I'm happy for them. Like, I really am happy for them. I see them and I'm like, you know, like, I really hope that you have found that person and that you made the right decision, you know. But another part of me looks at the way that their relationships have turned out, and I can't help but think you should have given it more time. You should have thought a little bit more about this. You should have considered all of the consequences that come along with getting married at this age without having known this person for very long and without having planned ahead in your life. Like, it's so funny that people just dive headfirst into something like marriage, and then and they do it because it's just the next box to check. And they check that box and they're like, oh, you mean I have to, there are other things that I there's a day after the wedding when you wake up and you realize that you're broke. When you wake up and you realize, you know what, this person actually is, they snore in their sleep. And I like them a lot and I love them, but I don't know, man, like this bothered me about them, or this happened, or they said this, or their family bothers me in this way, or they want me to do this for my career, and I want to do this for my career, or I don't have free time anymore, and I can't hang out with my friends anymore. The hobbies that I once had, I have to sacrifice. And like I said, I think that sacrifices are inevitable, and I want to do that one day. I want to sacrifice those parts of my life to be in a healthy relationship. But I don't think people are smart about. I don't think that the average person is as smart about getting married as they should be. I mean, I've seen people enter these relationships and get married, and they just get completely blindsided by some kind of behavior that their spouse has that they weren't aware of, or they finally show their true colors, or they realize, you know, like, in this phase of my life, you were the person I wanted, but I'm not in that phase anymore, and we don't get along, we don't mesh, we have very different goals. And I've seen my friends, people younger than me, that have gotten married and divorced. Some of them have had kids, and that just frightens me. That scares me so bad. I couldn't even imagine having to deal with the consequences of being married and divorced at such a young age. And I respect everybody who has gone through a situation like that. And I wish everybody the best if you find yourself in a spot like that, or if you've battled your way out of that. But I don't know, man, it just scares me. I'm so scared about, you know, making a rash decision, not considering all the possible outcomes, not being careful about who I select to be in a long-term relationship with. And so I see my friends, and I just have to shake my head, kind of. And anyways, maybe I'm just too pessimistic about it. And like I said, I do think that everyone is compatible, and I do want to find somebody out there. Finding them is hard enough on its own. Making it work is hard enough on its own. And I've had a few relationships, and one of them just recently that just really just kind of changed the way that I see the world, you know. And so I just wanna give everybody a pat on the back. I just really want to give you a pat on the back. Maybe I'll give myself a pat on the back too. But I really hope that you can navigate that phase of your life. If that's something you're going through, if you're having troubles with dating, or you feel like you are falling behind your peers, if everybody around you is making it work and it's just not panning out for you, I want you to know that you're doing just fine. It'll all be okay. In due time, you will find somebody out there. It'll be the right time. It'll be the right person. It'll be the right place. Don't force it. Don't make crazy changes to yourself. The more you have to change about who you are to work with somebody, the less happy you're going to be. At least that's what I believe. But just keep your chin up. Just decide for yourself, and maybe put down a list of things that you need in your future spouse, and then look at that list and be sure that you could also check off all of those listed items for yourself. Like, if you need someone that's kind, you need somebody that is loyal and patient, you need to be kind, you need to be loyal, you need to be patient, because honestly, it's the law of attraction. You know, if you are those things, you'll attract those things. So, there are a lot of things you can do if you're at the point in my life, or if you're at a similar point in your life as I am. Just work on yourself. You know, be happy, do your thing, progress, work hard, and you know, in due time it'll just work out. So anyways, that's just a long ramble, and I've discussed quite a few ideas, and hopefully they didn't stress you out. Hopefully you know where I'm coming from, and you know what I'm experiencing, because it's always nice to have people to relate to. But anyways, that's gonna be it for tonight's video. I hope you're doing good. Sleep tight.